Coach Scott Sargent, WFNY. Now that you got to watch the film, did you take away more good or more bad?
More good. I thought, offensively, Paul George made some tough shots. We turned the basketball over, gave him a couple easy baskets. Just got to rebound and get those 50-50 balls. We got to execute of, being able to get those balls. And I thought Kyrie did a good job at the end of the game. 2 loose balls, he got on the floor and got those balls. But for the most part, the intensity was there, the effort was there, and he made some shots and some tough shots, and that's what he's capable of doing.
Steve Ashburn, NBA.com. The conventional wisdom is that the playoffs is a more physical style of ball than the regular season. Is that something that typically happens as a series goes deeper? And what do you see for this particular series based on Game 1?
Well, you just got to see how the officials are calling the game, and you got to get a feel for that. Each crew is different, so going into it, you just got to see how they're going to call the game. But from Game 1, I thought, we played a solid game. I just, in that fourth quarter, I'd like to see us continue to push the pace and continue to get out in the open court and try to score easy baskets. I thought, in that fourth quarter, we really walked the ball up the floor, and they was able to get their defense set.
Was it a particularly physical game?
Not really.
Bob Kravitz with WTHR in Indianapolis. In the past, you've put LeBron on Paul George. What made you decide to go with JR in Game 1? And I assume that will continue?
Well, just considering what they did in the game here, the last game we played in the regular season, they tried to run LeBron around a lot. He was able to guard him one-on-one. He was able to take the post up away. So they did a good job of trying to run him off screens and run him around and try to wear him down. So just thought that we'd give JR, the assignment to take the challenge, and JR did a good job last game. So with that being said, he will start on him again tonight.
David Grendeman, ESPN. Ty, when your team stagnates on offense, what do you tell them to keep the defensive intensity up? Or can you say anything, or have they learned to still bring their best on defense if offense isn't going their way?
Well, we got to keep getting better at it and keep working on it. I thought down the stretch just to, get those 3 or 4 key stops when we needed them was a good sign, because, all year defensively we've been up and down, and to see that and to get those stops at the end when we needed them, that's a step in the right direction.
Jason Lloyd, The Athletic. I'm just piggybacking off Steve's question about the physicality of officiating. With all the problems that you guys had in the first round series 2 years ago with Boston and last year with Detroit, there was a lot of fouls called, it seemed, in Game 1. Are you okay with that, given the alternative that we've seen? Is there a balance between them, or would you rather be a tightly called game rather than some of the problems that occurred in Boston? Even Detroit last year, it seemed like LeBron took a lot of shots, maybe unnecessary shots.
Well, through my experience, the playoffs have always been more physical, and they let you play a lot more. But like I said, it's different every night. You never know, what crew you're going to get or how they're going to call the game. So you just got to kind of feel it out. But me, I'll lean more towards a physical game than a ticky-tack game.
Bill Livingston, plain dealer. Celtics got beat. You guys won by a point. Toronto got beat. Is that just kind of first time out of the box, or is that indicative of the increased parity?
Well, I think, the first game of the playoffs, and when you have home court, the pressure is all on you to win that first game. And until you get a chance to see how they're going to play, what their adjustments are, or how they're going to guard you on pick and roll, or how they're going to guard post-ups, I think it's just a fill-out game, that first game. And it's tough because you don't know what they're going to do and what they're going to try to take away. So after you play them after the first couple of games, you can kind of get a feel for what they're going to do and what their strategy is. So, the Toronto game and the Boston game, like they were just trying to get a feel. I'm pretty sure that, Toronto didn't expect them to blitz Kyle and DeRozan the whole game, So just getting a feel for what they do, and then you have to adjust after that.
Marla Ridenour, Akron Beacon Journal. Is there anything Kevin can do differently to be as active in the second half as he is in the first quarter?
Well, to start the game all season long, we always try to establish Kevin early. And he had a great first quarter, but then also you got 2 other guys we got to establish too. So, with that being said, him getting out to a good start gives us confidence early, but we know we have to get Kyrie involved in the game. We have to get LeBron involved in the game. And then we need all 3 of those guys to play well throughout the course of the game. So you just can't go to one guy and just say, carry us, because that's not the type of team that we have. And I think LeBron his first shot came, I think, 8 or 9 minutes into the game. So, we established Kevin early. He did a great job. And then we went to LeBron, then Kyrie. So, those three guys know that whoever gets going early, the other two have to get involved at some point in the game. So Kevin was fine with it.
Tom Withers, AP. Ty, how different is it stepping to the line in the playoffs? Not that you were there a ton, but
I don't know. I mean, those are free throws, free shots. So we have to make those. And, you can't miss 13 free throws in a playoff game. And it's hard to do and still win the game. And then also missing some layups. Bron had 2 layups in the paint, down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Kyrie missed a layup in the paint. So those are just plays you have to complete. And you got to step up and be able to make your free throws.
when LeBron changes his routine, is that fine with you? I mean, whatever it takes to get that percentage up?
I mean, I think he's a decent free throw shooter. I just think don't change. You're the best player in the world. Do what you do. Have confidence doing it, and that's it. Like, you're either going to miss or make them, but don't, keep changing. So what?
Time, Mike Singer, USA Today. You sort of alluded to it a little bit, but the Pacers, they beat you guys in points off turnovers. They beat you guys in second chance points, essentially hustle points. How much is that a point of emphasis going into Game 2?
It's a very big point. I thought, initially defensively we were pretty good. And like you said, the 50-50 balls, boxing out. We only had 11 turnovers, which is good, but they had 19 points off those turnovers. So, we got to do a better job of, if we're going to turn the ball over, make sure they're dead ball turnovers, not live where it's hard for us to get back. So we clean up those few things, and I think we'll be a lot better off tonight.
Joe Varden, Cleveland.com. Ty, as you know, the talk almost all year was about how the Cavs are going back to the finals. Not in your room, but just outside it with what we do. And now there have been several days of real questions of doubt coming your way. Do you think your players have noticed that and maybe latched onto it as a motivation, or just kind of have gotten their attention in any way?
It doesn't bother me. I mean, I don't care. I mean, they can say what they want to say. And, we know we have to play Cavs basketball. And if we do that for the playoffs, we know we'll be back. But if not, it's going to be a tough road. And like I told you before, a lot of teams have gotten better. And we got to continue to get better throughout the course of these playoffs and, see what happens. But I told you beginning of the year, it's not going to be a cakewalk. And, teams have gotten better, and we got to continue to get better throughout the course of the playoffs. But, I mean, I don't care what anyone else says.
The Pacers' leading scorer off the bench, Lance Stevenson, you guys had him in for a workout. What do you remember about that time, and how close did he have a shot to making the team? And how, obviously he's going against you guys now.
He came in and had a good workout, just off the injury he came off of, and to perform the way he did, I thought he was really solid. And I like Lance, and I'm glad to see him, get a shot, back in the league. And, Indiana signed him for 3 years. It's a good job, and I'm happy for him. And he played well last game, and we knew that coming into the series that he's one of those guys that don't care. He doesn't fear. He plays in the moment. He doesn't care. So he had a good game for those guys, and you expect him to do that.
So you mentioned the injury. That was more the concern at the time?
Yes.
Ty, Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. You've been in a situation where you've been trying to repeat as a champion. You've talked all along about how your players deal with adversity. Why do you think it's so difficult for some to handle prosperity?
I'm not sure. It's just, when you win a championship, they always talk about you're still the defending champions. But, with that comes a lot of responsibility of having to play and compete hard every single night. Like, you're going to get everyone's best shot. And sometimes it's a lot. And sometimes it's a lot for certain players and certain people to have to compete every single night for 82 games because, players and teams are coming after you. So with that being said, this is our first chance to, this was our first season to get a chance to look at that and, see how that feels. And, we handled this sometimes well, sometimes we didn't. And, with the playoffs, being able to push the reset button, having a new season, I think it was a breath of fresh air for us.
You just mentioned the reset, and a lot of people talk about flipping a switch. Not great defensively in terms of transition over the course of the year, and not as good at rebounding as you had been over the course of the year. Is that something you think is going to take time and you need to build towards?
Not really flipping a switch, just reset, just meaning you get a chance to have a clean slate. 0-0. The first one to win 16 games. And I think, with the ups and downs this season and throughout the course of the season, I think we needed a fresh start and a new start. And so our transition defense has to get better, but that also comes with, offensively taking care of the basketball, taking good shots. And, we got to continue to get better with that.